we get over this set of negotiations and move on and sit down and start talking about what we need to do to transform the education system from where we are to where we need to be. And that absolutely has to deal with the future of education and how we deal with every single student.
So why wouldn't you be at the table right now?
Well, we have been at the table.
What, like right now, today, right now?
Well, because the BCTF walked away from the table and they wanted a mediator. No, I mean you got to look at the facts.
I hear you, but if you really want to make an effort to do it, you should be hounding Ike, or Ike should be hounding you. You guys should be sitting down 24/7 to get these.
We have been, but my job is not to sit at the negotiating table. That's not my job. We have professional negotiators.
Fair enough.
Peter Cameron. Let me tell you what we did, just so you know the facts and whether you accept them or believe that they're appropriate or not.
What you're telling is true.
Well, then, you're accusing me of lying when I can tell you I'm not. But here's what happened.
Well, let's call it spin, perhaps. Then.
Well, then you can call it whatever you want.
Yes, please. Yes, please continue.
Last weekend, the government sat down with the negotiators and said, here's what we are prepared to do. We put a comprehensive offer on the table last Sunday at 5 o'clock in the afternoon, gave it to the BCTF, and normally in negotiations what happens is when you put an offer on the table, you expect the other party to come back with a response. The response on Monday morning was the union went out to the members, which they are entitled to do, and invited the media in and said the government squandered the weekend of negotiations, made no movement, went backwards, all of which is not true. So, now you can believe it or not, but here's the bottom line. I, as minister, am not going to sit back and have misinformation put out there by the other party.
Nor will we.
Well, and that's fair ball if that's what we end up doing. But you know what? Last weekend, we kept our mouth shut. We worked hard. We put an offer on the table.
You lowered the wages.
We did not lower it.
You did.
We did not lower it.
Peter, you
did not lower it.
You were on Global with Steve Darling, and you said 7.30 when he asked you. Where are you guys at? And then you came in at 7.0 after that Sunday night. That is lowering it.
No, when you look at the whole offer, you have to look at it in context.
Okay.
And then
Peter, we have. I know.
Then I can talk.
But they had their first offer in on Friday, and you didn't respond until Sunday.
It was 48 hours later. Yes.
Where you could have gone through.
Because in the negotiating process, and we were at the table, and the facilitator was there, and we went back and forth during that time. And we had to caucus, which happens in negotiations of any type, and we came up with what we believed was a comprehensive and a fair offer. We put it on the table on Sunday night. We expected a response back on Monday morning.
With the clause that said, if after October you don't like the contract anymore,
tear it up.
you can tear it up.
No, that isn't the clause.
That was a slap in the
That
face.
is not the
That
clause.
was a slap in the face.
That is not the clause.
I'm sorry.
The clause,
Party is not satisfied
the
with
bridging
Supreme Court
clause
ruling.
was depending on the court case, and what you need to know, whichever way it goes, that cut both ways. That offer was.
But we know which
So
way
there's
it's
no
gonna
contract.
go.
Well,
It's going to be in your favor.
Then there's no contract.
How do you know that?
I have a question, sir. I have a question, sir.
Twice already.
Sir, I have a question.
You're presuming something that I don't presume.
Okay. Sir, I have a
We're
question.
not going to get into that.
Why is it that your party has twice not abided by the Justice Griffin ruling?
Because we disagreed with the ruling.
Twice?
Yeah, absolutely. On points of law, we disagree with it. And you know what?
So you're willing to pay millions more in taxpayers? I don't know how much money you're spending on this court
the
case.
reality of a democracy is it cuts both ways. We as government have a right to appeal a ruling that on points of law we disagree with. Because if we didn't have, we don't have any more power.
Oh my God.
Oh, come on, sir. You are the government.
Court of appeal the same as anybody else.
Something my old 94-year-old father said. We voted the Liberals in, and the Liberals are really so-cred/conservative in sheep's clothing. The Liberals, I'm sorry, sweetheart. This is not a democratic thing. This is completely, and I'm afraid to use the word fascist, neo-fascism, but I'm sure you've heard it used before, and I'm not just spouting that about. I'm not just talking about.
Well,
but the fact is that I feel very much so that we are being controlled, and we have no say. we have no say. Right now, I understand that we're further apart, the teachers and the government are further apart now than they were a few days ago. So
We're closer on some things, but we're still far apart on a number of other ones.
So let's get it
Can
done.
I ask you something?
I agree.
Do you have
I
children
agree.
or grandchildren
Like tomorrow,
in the
that's
system?
I do.
No, are they in the public school?
They are in public schools.
And may I ask what grade they're in?
One is in grade 9 and the other one is in grade 6.
And how do they feel about their education?
They care about it as much as every other
But do
child
they
that I
feel
know.
that they get adequate support?
Yeah,
do they
they
feel
do.
that the kids,
Yeah, they
the
do.
other kids in their
Do they have
classroom
any
get
special
adequate?
needs?
Yeah, I believe my one grandson has 4 kids in his class, but they have TAs that are in there
No, no,
helping.
do they?
How many?
How
teachers?
do
No,
they
they
have-
don't have special
Exactly.
needs.
Can I ask you a question?
Yep.
My understanding is that the government has promised bargain through the summer if needed.
Yep.
But then I've also heard that Peter Cameron is not available in the summer. So are you planning on appointing somebody new?
I
for
haven't
this?
been told that, He's available all summer.
Okay, because somebody said that he was off to Europe or something in July.
The
his
bottom
contract
line
is
is,
up.
we've said to the BCTF, we are prepared to bargain as long as it takes to get it done. What we are not prepared to do, and we will not do, is legislate the teachers back.
Because you want to make money off of striking.
Okay, if that's your,
Actually,
that's not why.
I have another question.
pretty
That's a
Listen,
good
I'm
point,
going to
though.
have to go
I
for a
know,
minute.
but what is happening to the money that is being saved every day? I'm really naive.
It's accumulating, and I can't tell you what we're going to do with
Is it
that,
going
Jen.
back?
Is any of it going to come back to
That's kind of like
education?
I'm not going to make any
RCMP when they-
commitments until we get a negotiated settlement.
Fair point.
Okay, Peter, one other thing.
Well, let's hope some of it comes
One
back.
other thing. I had gone to all the teachers in the Lower Mainland and asked about class size and composition. So I asked them 3 questions. 1, how big is your class? How many kids in your class? Number 2, what kind of special needs do you have in your class? And number 3, what kind of support are they getting? So I got all the information. I compiled the whole ton of it. I want you to have it because this
Okay.
thing, what this does is this actually shows you real classes in BC right now. Okay, so for example, we got a chemistry 12 class. I didn't use names, obviously, completely confidential, privacy and all that. But chemistry 12, 36 kids in a chem class where you're dealing with, who knows what, you know what I mean? Grade 6, 29 students, 3/4 of the class where English isn't their primary language. But there's no support for that.
Well,
You know what
I will
mean?
take this
So-
and read
exactly.
it.
So
I
no, I'm going to
appreciate
tell you a
it.
couple more. So grade 3, 4, 24 students, 15 of them don't speak English. ELL. Right? And there's no support for that. So I also asked them what kind of support, and then which teachers gave me the support, I put it in here. This is what's happening
Well,
in BC public schools.
From the horse's mouth, sir.
Okay,
Okay.
From the horse's
From the
mouth.
teachers,
I
it's
will
not
take
That's our
this-
most
it's
important
not
issue.
fun, but we're talking about class size and composition here. You guys haven't addressed the class size and the composition issue yet. You're hung up on the salary, I understand.
No, we're
This
not
is
hung
what's
up
really,
on the salary.
this is what's most important though, is making sure that the sports are coming.
We're the
Yeah, I get
closest
it,
on
because
salaries.
you're talking about it,
absolutely.
but I get